In this video you will able to know about absorption. Absorption, the absorption or ingestion of food. When the food has been digested, i.e. converted into soluble form, it passes through the mucous membrane of the alimentary canal into the blood and lymph, plasma and white blood corpuscles, that bathe the tissue cells. This process is known as absorption. The conversion of absorbed food material into the living tissue of the body is called assimilation. Absorption in the mouth and the food pipe. There is practically an absorption of digest material in the mouth or the food pipe. The digested material as well as other constituents of food are forced down. Absorption in the stomach. A small portion of sugar, water, salts and alcohol is absorbed directly by the capillaries present in the mucous membrane of the stomach. Absorption in the small intestine. The innermost coat of the small intestine is called the mucous membrane. It is thrown into circular folds to increase the surface for absorption. This coat is further covered with millions of finger-like projections called villi. The inner surface of the small intestine, therefore, presents a velvet-like appearance. Microscopic appearance of a villus. Each villus has a close network of blood capillaries and extremely fine central tubes called lacteals, which in reality, are the terminal ends of a lymphatic vessel. In addition, each villus contains nerves in its interior. Absorption of sugars and proteins. The starches having been changed into maltose, cane sugar and milk sugar, lactose, are further converted into glucose, and the peptones are converted into amino acids by the action of ferments. These sugars and amino acids are absorbed by the blood capillaries and the capillaries pour their contents into the mesenteric veins. From these veins, the soluble constituents of food go to the portal vein, which enters the liver. Here this vein breaks up into capillaries. Thus all the sugars and amino acids pass through the liver, and any excess of sugar beyond the body requirements is stored up in the cells of the liver in the form of a starch known as glycogen. The capillaries reunite and form a bigger vein, the hepatic vein, which leaves the liver laden with the food material. This vein then joins the inferior vena cava. Absorption of fats. The fats having been emulsified into very minute particles are absorbed by the lacteals. The milky fluid, sucked up by the lacteals during digestion, is called chyle. These lacteals unite with one another to form lymphatics which lead to lymphatic glands. The fatty emulsion is, thus carried by lymphatics to the largest lymphatic vessel, the thoracic duct, and, from the thoracic duct into the left subclavian vein. At last the fats pass into the blood. Absorption in the large intestine. The semi-fluid mass left behind moves through the large intestine, where absorption of water and some salts continues. The contents become firmer and get purified and decomposed due to the action of bacteria. These contents are ultimately thrown out as feces. The liver and the pancreas. The liver is the largest gland in the body. It has a reddish-brown color and is situated on the right side of the abdomen, just under the diaphragm, slightly overlapping the situation. It is about 12 inches long and 6 inches broad and weighs about 4 pounds. It is divided into two lobes by a deep fissure. The right lobe is bigger than the left. On the undersurface of the right lobe there is a pear-shaped bag called the gallbladder which stores up bile, secreted by the liver. The liver is covered by a thin membrane known as peritoneum. It has a smooth convex upper surface which fits into the concavity of the diaphragm. The hinder portion is thick and tapers in front. The liver is made up of a number of many-sided cells. It is divided by connective tissue walls into small areas, called the lobes. Minute hair-like channels separate the cells from one another. Circulation through the liver. The portal vein enters the liver. On entering the liver, it breaks up and gives out branches in all directions. The venous blood is thus distributed through the whole cellular substance. Each cell is washed by the venous bleed. The cells rob the blood of certain materials and form the bile from these materials. The channels or the bile ducts carry the bile off. These bile ducts unite and reunite to give rise to hepatic duct, which carries the fluid away from the liver. This duct ends in the common bile duct, which enters the duodenum. Communicating with the hepatic duct is a smaller tube, the cystic duct, which leads back and expands into a sort of bag known as the gall bladder. This store up bile when not required in the body. The liver is supplied with blood by the hepatic artery for the nourishment of its own tissues. It divides and subdivides till it forms a network of capillaries in the substance of the liver. The blood is again collected up by veinlets, which ultimately form hepatic vein. It carries blood away from the liver and opens into inferior vena cava. Functions of the liver: it secretes bile, which is in reality worn-out blood corpuscles and other waste matter. Bile helps the digestion of fats by emulsifying them. It kills harmful bacteria present in the intestines. It works as a laxative. It converts some of the sugar into glycogen and stores it in its cells when food is in plenty. This glycogen is again converted into dextrose when required for use. It stores the excessive fats present in the food in the form of droplets. It manufactures area, which is ultimately thrown out with urine by the kidneys. It excretes the hemoglobin of worn-out red blood corpuscles. This is thrown out with the fauces. The pancreas or the sweetbread is a long narrow fatty gland, situated in the C-shaped bend of the duodenum on the right and extending to the spleen on the left. It secretes a colorless fluid, the pancreatic juice, which is poured out into the duodenum along with the bile. When food enters the stomach, exocrine cells release the pancreatic enzymes into a system of small ducts that lead to the main pancreatic duct. The pancreatic duct runs the length of the pancreas and carries pancreatic enzymes and other secretions, collectively called pancreatic juice. The pancreas produces an internal secretion called insulin, which is absorbed by the blood as soon as it is prepared. Insulin oxidizes sugar. Its absence leads to a disease known as diabetes. Thanks for watching my video. For more videos, kindly like, subscribe, and share.